I'm going to click on it once. It'll open up a dialog box. I'm going to choose Wrap Around Selection, and I'm going to name this ID Wrapper. I'll click OK, and you can in fact see down here that this div, it has the name Wrapper. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new rule, a new CSS rule for that wrapper. So I'll go to my CSS panel, find this little icon, the new rule icon, click it once, and Dreamweaver recognizes that I have the ID selected, and that ID is called Wrapper, and I'll click OK. Now I get to make some choices about what I want that wrapper to look like and how I want to style it. I'll go to the background category. Let's say I want to give it a background color, maybe a light yellow color. I'll hit apply so I can see what that looks like. Terrific, and now I can actually see that. And I'll go to the box category and I'll give it a fixed width of 960, which is a good standard width in pixels. And I'll hit the apply button as well. I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to view this in a browser, preview in Firefox, and I can see what that looks like. You can really see the edges of the div, this div named Wrapper. I can see that it needs to be centered in the page, which is an important part of my design, and also I would like to remove this top space and this left side space. And now I'm returning back to Dreamweaver, and I think I'll stretch open my Dreamweaver window a bit so I can really see the edges of the page. Stretch it open just a little bit more. And now I can see the edges of the page. Now the first thing I need to do is I need to go to the wrapper, and I need to make some edits in the properties. I'm going to go to the box category, and right over here in the margin I'm going to deselect Same for All and put in some settings here. I want the top to be 0. I want the right side to be auto. I want the bottom to be 0, and I want the left side to be auto. I'm going to apply this, and I saw a slight change. I'm going to click OK and test that in a browser. And now I can see that my page is centered in the browser, and that's perfect. The only problem is that I have a little bit of space here. This is a little padding that's built into the page, so I'm going to have to zero that out in the body. I'm going to close this up, return to Dreamweaver, and now I'll choose the body style that I have. I will edit it, and I will go to the box category, and in this case I'm going to put 0, Same for All, and 0, Same for All. This will take out any extra padding or margin in the body. I'll click OK. I'll test this in a browser window, and now I am looking good. So I'm going to close this up and return to Dreamweaver. The next thing I want to do is assign my H1, H2, and H3 headings. So I'll highlight the text right here, Lord of the Rings Trilogy, and I'll assign it with an H1. The next thing I'll do is highlight the next line and set that at H2, and then the other headings will be H3s. Each one will be an H3. Alright, now that that's done, I'm looking at the page and realizing that maybe those standard heading sizes and styles don't appeal to me. Well, I can actually restyle them. So how do I do that? I go over to my CSS, create a new rule. I'll choose Tag, and right now it recognizes automatically that I wanted to style the H1, but just in case it wasn't there, I could choose it from the drop-down list. H1. I'll click OK, and now I get to make some decisions. Let's say I want to make it a little bit larger, so why don't I try 300? And remember, we're always working in percentages. I'll hit the apply button so I can preview it, And wow, that's too big, so I will reduce this down to 200 and click apply, and that's much better. Maybe I want to change the color of all my H1s. Maybe I want to make them all red. And I'll hit apply to preview, and that looks terrific. I'll click OK. Next, I want to style all my H2s. So I'll go create a new rule for H2s. Choose tag. Make sure I have H2 selected. I'll click OK. And maybe the font size for this will be 180%. A little bit smaller. I'll hit the apply button. Smaller yet. Let's try 150. Apply. And maybe I want that to be green. See what that looks like. That works for me, and I'll click OK. Let's style all the H3s. I'll create a new rule and tag and H3. I'll click OK. And maybe I want all my H3s to be 110%. And I want them all to be maybe purple. And I'll hit the apply button. And now they all three H3s follow the properties that I just set. I'll click the OK button, and now you can see how I've styled my H1, H2, and H3s. Now, something that's very handy to do is to take away all the padding and all the spacing around each one of these. You'll notice there's quite a bit of space around these. So I like to edit each one, go to the box category, and remove the margin and the padding. I'll click OK, and I'll do the same thing with my H2. Go to the box category, 0 padding, 0 margin, and then click OK and go to the H3. Go to the box category, 0 padding, 0 margin. And now everything is kind of nice and tight. If I want to, right in here, I can press the return key to get a new space. I'm going to test this in a browser and see how it looks, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm back in Dreamweaver, and I'm ready to add some padding to my page, so I'm going to choose the wrapper, and I'm going to click this little edit button. I will go to the box category, and this is where I'm going to add the padding right in here. I'm going to deselect same for all because I want to be a little more specific about my settings. I'm going to add 30 pixels to the right and also 30 pixels to the left. I'm going to see what that looks like. I'm going to hit the apply button, and that's really just the effect I'm looking for. It gives me a little bit of space on the left hand side and on the right hand side as well, over here on the right. But what happens as a result is it actually adds to the width of my page, of my div, I should say. So what I'm going to do, because I've added a total of 60 pixels, I'm going to take off 60 pixels over here. And I'll take this to a width of 900, and I'll hit the apply button. So now what I have is that total of 960 pixels across in that div area, which is really the live area of my content. So I'm going to click OK and test this in a browser. Let's preview in Firefox, and I've got a little bit of padding on the left and the right, which is just what I was looking for. I'll close my browser window and return to Dreamweaver. Now I want to add a little bit of padding on the top and bottom. I'll go back to my wrapper, hit the edit button, go back to the box category, and maybe try 20 on the top and 20 on the bottom. You can set these numbers any way you want, whatever appeals to you in terms of your design. I'll hit the apply button, and I'll click OK. I'll see what that looks like in a browser, and really that is just what I'm looking for. I'll close my browser window, return to Dreamweaver, and save my work.